Hey, hi, my name is Chris. Every day I'm doing a vlog and I'm doing it for 1,000 days, guys. Yes, 1,000 days. So if you're not subscribed, to subscribe would be awesome. Thank you so much. And if you could hit that notification bell and give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Every day I talk about something uniquely different. And today, your friend has a characteristic trait that you cannot abide. It's got worse over time. You really don't want it in your life. And guess what? Yeah. It's got to the point where you feel somewhat annoyed by it. And you've mentioned it maybe previously many times. You've mentioned the fact that they say or do something which isn't acceptable to you, and you find that they're just not listening, they're not open to change, and they just resolve their approach with just the same thing every time. And they keep resorting back to that previous behaviour. And I guess you've got to say to yourself, then, they are who they are. They are who they are. They're not going to change, and especially if they're older, it's unlikely. Behaviours learned is a behaviour that's probably going to stay with them. And you just can't, as somebody who's supposed to be their friend, get past all that. It's kind of annoying, isn't it? It is. It's annoying because you just feel the negativity of that. Now, it could be absolutely anything. It could be that they talk about a particular subject all the time. It could be that they just don't want to meet you in the middle for any particular reason, for if you're going out and socializing. Their lifestyle has become so far removed from you that you just don't enjoy it anymore. And I think when you get to that point, you've got to say goodbye. Maybe a slow, gradual distancing over time, and that's it. It's fizzled out. Recently, I am aware a kind of pseudo friend, if you like, that I've been aware of. She very much, her behaviour has been somewhat distant. Whenever we meet up, it's very much on their terms. And I just felt that their negativity in terms of making an effort to continue a friendship, it's kind of been a little bit one-way traffic. And having that one-way traffic isn't great, because any friendship, as most people will tell you, needs to be reciprocal. It has to be. Because if you've got that kind of friendship where it's just one way, I genuinely don't feel that it's healthy. For people to be successful in a friendship, you've got to meet each other in the middle, 50-50, right down the middle, every single time. And if you don't have that, well, that's not really a friendship, I think. They're just somebody who, just happens to be there and that you communicate with, and maybe don't see them again for quite a while. The behaviours I'm talking about, though, the things that really get under my skin, are people who put other things before you. So in friendships, I gather in life that you have commitments, you have families, we have bills to pay, we have mortgages to pay. We've got absolutely all sorts of things in our lives, and it occupies an awful lot of our time. And I get that, I get all that. But when you've got somebody in your life who lives a very singular, parsimonious lifestyle, who doesn't want to engage with you because their particular thing is, say, money, and they don't want to spend money, and they certainly don't want to spend money taking you out or going for coffee with you or doing something with you. And what's the point of that friendship? If all you're doing is doing it all the time and they're not doing that, that's just very strange. But characteristic traits that friends have can develop over time. And when they develop that over time, it may be that when you first meet them, they don't sort of have that behaviour on show. But you get to know them a bit more. You get to know them in a way which you really do recognise. I've seen behaviours in some people recently where I just don't admire or like that behaviour. And I've got to this age where I feel that the kind of people I want in my life are positive people with positive vibes. Now, I get life is difficult and challenging, I really, really do. But I'm talking about characteristic traits where you are just not liking how they present to you. And like I say, they may not have presented to you completely that way right from the get-go. And when you get somebody who has that, you've got to say then, do I want this person still in my life? Do I want them to be around? Or do I want to be around them? Probably, most likely, if it's an issue, I would suggest the best thing is to move away from them. Slowly, silently, until maybe the connection is all but fizzled out. They may try, to keep that fire, to keep that connection going. But, well, they'll fail because you don't want that. Hi guys. And they will probably pursue that friendship, especially if they're getting some benefit out of it from you. But I just don't see, me personally, how I could remain in their life given their behaviour. And I don't feel, for me, that I would want that. I guess friendships are like anything, isn't it? You kind of grow. We all go our own journeys, our own separate ways. Sometimes we meet up, and that position is actually quite wonderful. And when you've got a friendship that's solid like that, and it's great, and there's no issue, that's absolutely wonderful. But if you don't have that, and slowly over time, there's an erosion of your friendship where they've developed this characteristic that you're not fond of, that you don't want, well, I don't know. It just says that maybe this is the time to just step away and not have that in your life. I've noticed in life as well, you've got friends, right? And they ask you how to resolve a problem. You tell them how to do it, but they don't actually do anything about it. Their repetitive nature about going on about this one particular issue. And whilst I accept we're all uniquely different on this planet, we all live our lives in a very separate way. But I just find it very challenging being around people who A, don't want to change, B, bring a particular characteristic trait to the table which isn't conducive to your friendship. And that could present in many ways. They could be banging on about money all the time. They could be banging on about a particular issue all the time. It could be absolutely anything. And if you have that, well, you just want to step away from it. It's not something that I want in my life. It's not something that I enjoy being around. And my friends, I would say I've got some very good friends. But like I say, this particular person is well on the periphery, on the outside. And I just don't enjoy having that in my circle. So I personally have decided to just step back a bit, step away from it. They know, I think, how they've behaved and how they are. But this is part of life, isn't it? It's part of growing. It's all part of our journey. And if we can say to ourselves, we don't have to be mean or horrible, but we just step away from the behaviours, the characteristic trait that they have, which they present, which we don't like, and that's okay. It's fine to do that. You don't have to be horrible. You don't have to be mean-spirited in doing that. You really don't. But I find that people who present that way, for me, I just don't want to be around that. And I find myself as well getting more annoyed the longer I spend around it, because it's just a behaviour which I don't want to be exposed to. Now that behaviour can be something that they say, something that they do, something that they present as, and it could be a repetitious behaviour as well. It could be going on and on and on to the point where they're not going to change anymore. And if you don't want it, just say you don't want it. Just move on from it. And maybe the learning there for me and maybe some others out there is that maybe just being honest, telling them that you don't want to do it anymore, don't want to have that friendship anymore. Maybe honesty is the best policy there. Maybe that's the best thing. It's friends who put other things before you. It's friends who value say intangible things, which really most normal people wouldn't have in their life. They accept the true value of human beings and people and their emotions above money and acquisition. And maybe that's the learning here, isn't it? There are some people who value money over a connection. And if that's your thing, fair play to you, that is your thing, but that's not my thing, and that's not why I'm alive. I'm alive to give meaning to my life by helping others and doing stuff and being there for other people. I'm not here to earn you money. I'm not here to talk about your money. If you see value in money, then I think you've got a very sad life. I believe that if you've got a life where you are philanthropic, where you help other people and do other things, now that has some true value for me. That has a better take on life. But for somebody who's got this particular characteristic trait, whatever flaw it could be, you know, it's worth noting that if you don't want it in your life, you've got to say, you know, to these people, with all due respect, I don't want to continue this friendship. Tough to do, not easy, but do it you must. Because if you do it, well, it just means that the other person knows where you stand. Or maybe a silent disappearing act, disappearing into the sunset. Maybe that's not bad. So that's my take on it. Are there any characteristic traits that you have in friends that you don't like? I'd be really curious to know in the comments below. And maybe it's something that I do a follow-up to. Maybe it's something that I do. Anyway, look, you can see here in Plymouth, it's lovely. Lots of boats flying around. It's Armed Services Day, so I'm going to head up onto what's called Plymouth Hoe, maybe catch some aircraft. That would be great. On that note, I'll be back again tomorrow with a completely different subject. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I've been Chris. I'll see you then. Bye now.